Hello, you. How you doing? What's going on? Just back with a quick little kind of, I guess, review, aimless little chat about a gig I went to last night. So, I went to see Fear Factory at the O2 Ritz in Manchester, playing the Demanufacture album in its entirety. And let me tell you, it was an absolute treat. Just one of those things that I kind of knew was going to be great, and it was great. So it was actually better than I expected, funnily enough. So yeah, I mean, started off with I can't remember the first band. I'm not even going to try because I didn't really catch enough of their set. But they're from Dublin, and they kind of sounded like a crap version of Soulfly. Second band I saw was Once Human, which was a band featuring actually Logan Mader, who actually played for Machine Head on the first two albums, and they had a okay kind of like solid average metal. It kind of sounded like very 1997 Roadrunner kind of hero metal. And it was fun. It was very energetic, well performed. I don't think the sound was actually great for them. Particularly when you've got two guitars, they tend to kind of bleed together a lot, and there wasn't a lot of distinction on the riffing or whatever. You only really kind of made out what was going on when one of them played a solo. But you know, they were very kind of energetic. You know, perhaps hampered by the sound and the singer as well. Again, can't remember her name, but she was very good as well. Very nice scream, but they just struck me as a kind of a solid meat and potatoes metal band, and of course because Logan Mader was in the band, they whipped out a cover of Davidian by Machine Head, and I'm not ashamed to say that did excite me, you know, rather predictably, but as soon as somebody whipped out Davidian, yes, alright, it's very cheap way to gain applause. At the same time, it fucking works every time, and I'm suitably banged up as a result, primarily of them just playing that song. So, yeah, you know, fine. Once Human, not didn't blow me away, but you know they weren't bad. And then we get on to the main event, Fear Factory. Now I've actually never seen Fear Factory before. They were, you know, one of my absolute favourite bands. When I was a little bit younger, and I still think they are, like, you know, fucking great, and they've got certainly 2 or 3 albums that go toe to toe with anything. The lights all shifted there, that's weird. Yeah, they've got albums that go toe to toe with everything, but the big one, the great one, and something that, you know, I'd be putting in my top 10s, top 20s albums of all time, would be the Demanufacture album. And I've got a strange kind of relationship and a mixed view on playing albums all the way through. I think it is a very easy way to get your numbers up if you are a touring band, and it's really fucking hard to actually make money as a touring band anyway, and you need to fill those seats. And if relying on a little bit of nostalgia and playing an album all the way through is the way you do that, then I can't really knock it too much. But at the same time, it really does depend on the album. It can be quite an awkward format. You know, like Metallica, when they played Master of Puppets all the way through, brilliant. Okay, you can't go wrong with that, because that is an album that works all the way through. They then played the Black Album all the way through at the Download Festival a couple of years ago, and quite shrewdly acknowledged the limitations of doing that, because the Black Album is a very front-heavy album. But at the same time, a lot of people, I guess, would like to hear those kind of like deep cuts and hidden gems and the you know, supposed filler, because one man's filler is another person's, you know, best song on the album or underrated gem. So they played it actually from back to front instead, which worked great, because you got to end on, you know, Enter Sandman and the more popular Metallica songs. So they acknowledged the limitations. They fiddled around with it. I've seen Extreme do the Porno Graffiti album all the way through last year. And again, that was one that it works because it is a great back to front album, but at the same time, you're throwing more than words in at track 4, track 5. You know, it certainly feels like the bigger songs should be saved towards the end of the list or spaced out a little bit more. And then there was that shitty piano song about New York City on there as well, which, you know, I could have done without. But, I mean, you can't really argue with that. But when a band plays their kind of best album, problem is, particularly if they play it kind of quite early on into the set, is you think, well, what are they going to play afterwards? Because they've just pretty much thrown all the best songs in there. And what Fear Factory did yesterday was actually navigate around that, you know, cleverly. One, because they've got a great body of work, and two, because they acknowledge that they do need to actually showcase the new material of the new album, Genexus, which is out this year. But, you know, at the end of the day, people are there to see Demanufacture. So they actually just pretty much launched straight into the album, and I don't think there's many better opening tracks on a metal album than title track Demanufacture. So that was an absolute ripper, straight into Self-Bias, Resistor, songs that just played with such kind of precision. The band were really on point, like really, really tight, well drilled, as you'd expect from Fear Factory, but those kind of muddy sound limitations that one's human experience, not a problem for Fear Factory, and that might partly because, you know, they're the headline band, they get a full sound check, and you know, they probably use their own people and things like that. But at the same time, I think if you gave those two bands the same tools, the same PA system, the same soundboard and everything, you would still notice a night and day difference between the two. And that is because of the precision and the musicianship and the songcraft of Fear Factory. Their formula, well, you know, getting kind of repetitive towards the latter stages of their career, is still one that that really works, particularly in a live environment, and is utterly reliant on the musical precision of the musicians involved. So, Dino Cazares, you know, one of the best guitarists around, and I would say, even though he's quite a high-profile guitarist, one of the most underrated as well. You don't really get him talked about in the same breath as a lot of kind of the big metal guitar players, and it's ridiculous because, as much as anybody, you know, almost as much as kind of Dimebag and things, he's been influential in how metal is played, and he's shaped the way that you know, metal and thrash guitar music has sounded for you know, for modern times, really. And you know, he was just really just an absolute rock all the way through this, and also bassist Tony Campos really locked in with Dino, and whoever they got on drums now, because I know they've been for a few drummers now. You know, just flawless. It didn't even look like he was breaking a sweat, and just executed these intricate, powerful, mechanical songs, literally machine-like songs, with just deft precision, and you can't say fairer than that. So watching these three musicians locked together was great. Now, one thing that did kind of, I prepared myself for, and I was going to have fun regardless, because, you know, metal live, hamped in your face, playing some of the best metal songs ever, brilliant. One thing that I was a little concerned about was Burton C. Bell, the singer, because I've certainly heard a few accounts of him really not being up to it live. You know, I mean, he's got a very good kind of growl voice on him, but when those clean vocals come in, because of the ferocity of his growl, I think he actually tends to blow his voice out a bit, and he struggles with that kind of style. But no such problems tonight. I thought he was, you know, apart from a few little places which you can forgive any kind of live singer, because it is really fucking hard singing live over metal, and that's another thing. There's no other music genre that requires you to actually do everything at the top of your voice all the way through, that I can think of anyway. But yeah, he was great all the way through. When we got to the third song, Zero Signal, which has a lot of kind of clean singing and stuff, he was great, like really soaring. He had just the right kind of effect and chorus and reverb on the vocals, so it kind of captured that cold machine-like atmosphere of the album. But you know, it wasn't like heavily kind of tooled up synthetic Maroon Tate thing. He was singing every note, and it just absolutely kind of killed it. He looked a lot more trim as well, and ready for the stage. And it just continued basically, and it just made you think, what a great album this is, because this is just 11 tracks of no filler, just hit, 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 and everybody absolutely exploded all the way through it. And I for one was very thankful for the more measured pace towards the end of that album, because I was really running out of breath and feeling very, very old. And then we got to after they finished Demanufacture, with Echoes of Innocence, which was just sounded astounding. They came back and just launched into Shock, which was just irresponsible, to be honest. And if I need to see a chiropractor for the rest of my life, it's probably down to them doing that, and then following up with fucking Edge Crusher. Come on. And then Shock and Edge Crusher. As somebody that wears glasses, I did fear for them for quite a large portion of that part of the set, and I really rapidly became conscious of my waning level of fitness at that point. But Jesus, I mean, back to back to back, not a dip in the whole set up until this point. And then after that, they said, "Okay, who wants to hear some new songs?" I didn't particularly, but yeah, no, they got a very good reaction, and to be honest, I was grateful. But they did play 3 new songs in a row. One of them, Regenerate, I really enjoyed, but it was a welcome relief, because I've just basically been in the best way possible assaulted with pure evil metal. So after that, they ended with Martyr. Which off the first album, Soul of a New Machine, and let me tell you, I was thinking, yeah, just end it there, because perfect set, and it really was. It was great, back to front, tightly performed, brilliant, face-searing metal that actually showed that the new songs could live with the absolute classics they played, but at the same time, we all know why we were there. It was for a celebration, the 20th anniversary of one of the best metal albums of all time, and what a celebration it was. I'm actually still in quite a lot of pain. My neck is giving me a lot of trouble right now, but I was very, very happy with my gig going experience. So Manchester, thank you very much. It was worth the long journey there, and yeah, I'm going to be revisiting Demanufacture again, I think, because it has been a while. It's been a while. Don't know why I did that. But yeah, I'm going to be back to talk about some other stuff very, very soon. I know it's been a bit of a fallow period, but I'm sure you've appreciated the rest away from me. And I will catch your butt down the road. Bye. Can't really seem to switch this off.